edition. I'm Brad at Pomerance in the San Gabriel Valley today, joined by Sid Robinson. He is a new member of the Upland City Council. He works in PR. I've known him for several years. What's it like being on that side of the camera, my friend? Usually bringing people to be interviewed. Now you're the interviewee.
Well, you know, I've been on that side of the camera as well for a long time, so it's good.
So what made you decide, though, to make the jump into elective office? You have been working in PR for some time at a major university. Now you're on your own. It's a big move to do what you're doing.
Well, it is and it isn't. I think throughout my career, both from a professional standpoint and just personally, I've always been involved with the community.
Of course.
And with all the numerous boards, but I've served on the planning commission for a number of years.
Makes sense.
And it's just a natural step to go, and it just made a lot of sense to
Well, congratulations. Be careful what you wish for. You're there now. Yeah. But there are exciting times indeed in Upland and throughout the Inland Empire. I want to speak about city budgets and focus on Upland. Look, some of our friends in the Inland Empire had budgets that caused them to go bankrupt. San Bernardino, for example, in your county. I don't want to suggest that Upland's on its way, but there are challenges that you face with your budget. Give us a sense of what you see.
Well, absolutely. And in fact, several years ago, I think there was a great fear that that was the way we were going, and a fiscal advisory task force was formed. They came up with a number of recommendations. And at that point, Upland was actually fortunate to get a windfall settlement from some legal to keep us afloat for a while. And so the sustainability financially was good. But now as you look ahead to 2018, we're looking at, you know, all the loss of redevelopment, the just rising pension obligations.
Which I know are quite onerous. I mean, our friends in San Bernardino have said that one of the main reasons they wound up filing for bankruptcy was the weight of pension obligations. Stockton, Lodi, Detroit, I mean, we hear this time and time again, and I don't want to get too much in the pension debate, but it's a challenge.
It absolutely is a challenge, and Upland is certainly not unique because cities around the state are facing a lot of those same challenges. We're just trying to, we know where we are. We've kind of, you know, looked at these waters in the past, and now we're trying to cut them off before we absolutely
And let's talk about that. Your budget's about $46 million. Some would say that's underfunded by $12 million.
Well, for the general fund, what you see is we do have a balanced budget, but when you look at that, it's pretty much artificial. I mean, and when you say underfunded by 12 million, it could probably, probably even a lot more we could be spending.
And when I say underfunded, you're not in deficit. It just means that if what you should have is 58 million to meet the needs of your city.
And it's primarily in the areas, the things that are most important to any city, and that's public works, fixing the streets and that type of thing, and public safety.
And let's talk about that, because one of the big questions is Upland's fire department. There are many cities that will contract out with the county for fire, even for police. Currently, Upland has its own fire department. But like you said, there are serious challenges with maintenance, with pension obligations. And so there had been discussions about whether maybe the city could pass a parcel tax to further fund fire services. Talk to us about that possibility.
Well, and again, this dates back to several years ago as well. And among those recommendations was to look at annexing or outsourcing, if you would, fire and or police. So their city manager, and we have a great city manager who's on an interim basis, Marty Thuvenel, and he has taken the bull by the horns almost literally. I mean, he's really grabbed this and has done a lot of investigating and a lot of looking and seeing what is the best route, and has looked at various agencies on the possibility of how can Upland maintain the type of fire service for its residents that it needs to give them, you know, what we expect. And so in so doing, Brad, we talked with San Bernardino County Fire, and came to an agreement that this is something that would work for have Upland's fire department be annexed into county fire. So essentially, the same stations would be in place with the minor exception. But it would be, and probably a lot of the same personnel, but it would be under the operation of San Bernardino County.
And let's talk through that, because it's a proposal that does require certain steps to be taken to move forward.
Yes.
And so the first thing that needs to be done is to allow the annexation to occur. The city and the fire department need to go through what's known as LAFCO, the Local Agency Formation Commission.
Right.
Explain that process.
Well, and before it even came to LAFCO was a lot of negotiations and seeing if there was the right fit. Once that was determined, then it went to LAFCO, the Local Agency Formation, and determined at that point that yes, there is a fit, and so they put the pieces together. And so after Upland had agreed that this is a direction to go, and pretty much put it in the hands of LAFCO, at which point LAFCO handles the rest of the process in working with County Fire and with
and that's what they're doing right now.
Correct.
But what we know, though, is presuming that LAFCO allows us to move forward, there would be a financial ramification for Upland residents and a small area of unincorporated Upland, we'll call it. There would be a parcel tax.
Yes.
The parcel tax would be in the amount of, is it about 100?
It's about
$150 a year.
Yeah, exactly.
$150 a year. I know the proponents would say it's money well spent.
Yeah.
The services will improve. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, it is, because what will happen is that first let me backtrack.
Right.
Of the Upland stations that are there, one will actually close, but it's a minimally utilized station.
I understand.
But by closing that station, with the new arrangement, Upland will gain access to another station that is in San Antonio Heights, which is not part of Upland. It's a Upland mailing address,
Sure.
if you will.
But it's right there.
It's right there, and it's literally across the street from the city limit. And so with that, there will also be an increase in personnel, totally, if you will. And it will include the mutual, I won't
mutual
call it
aid.
pretty much.
Essentially.
But with the service area, the sphere of influence for Upland Fire under the operation of County Fire, which County Fire still currently operates the one station that's in San Antonio Heights. It will provide access to Heights residents with Upland Fire, and vice versa. Upland will have that.
And one of the bigger concerns had been that maintenance was being continually deferred, and through this, that would end. The deferred maintenance would be resolved.
Simply by economies of scale, by what San Bernardino County Fire is able to do. Even if for example, that Upland decided to do its own parcel tax and it just ended there, we could continue to operate our fire department, but we still wouldn't have the money to do two major things. One, maintain and repair and build with in terms of facilities, equipment, trucks, and probably the biggest is that pension obligation, because that will eventually go away. Now, Upland will still be on the hook for those people who are currently Upland Fire Department and would transfer over as long as they're with the County Fire. That'll go away.
At the same time, the savings to the city, quite significant, $50 million over 10 years.
Over 10 years, and immediately,
that's real.
$3+ million right away too. So, and it's valuable not only to see. I mean, yes, those are numbers, and I think people don't really understand the concept, but those are just critical for the fiscal sustainability of Upland. If the annexation doesn't go, you're still going to likely see that same station that I mentioned that was going to close will have to close. But with that will be 9 personnel that'll be out of work.
We'll have you back. He is Sid Robinson. He is a councilman in the city of Upland. I'm Brad Pomerance, Local Edition.